Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to talk about this story regarding the recent passing of Dianne Feinstein and speculation about who her replacement is going to be. So Dianne Feinstein was the longest running woman in Senate, and there had been calls for her to retire, a long time ago, especially in recent years when she had some health scares. And she did announce that she was going to retire at the end of her term. She passed away at the age of 90. And, for a couple of months now, there has been some speculation as to who her replacement was going to be. And Meghan Markle's name even came up. It's no secret that she has her eye on going into politics. That's her next move, or at least that was rumoured to be her next move for the longest time now, especially when she was writing letters to the Senate, writing letters to the then Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, trying to insert herself into the whole debate about family leave. Some people even speculated that she wrote the letter knowing full well that these bills were going to be passed, but that the timing would attribute, the bills to her. The moving story that she told about her childhood, growing up poor, growing up in the hood and having to work, at the time when it would have been illegal for her to work, at a yogurt shop that apparently denied that she ever worked for them. She seemed to have forgotten her middle-class upbringing and going to private schools across the board, and told a story about growing up in the hood and working and selling bracelets and, really being put through hardship at a young age, and is now writing from the office of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Definitely come a long way. Now, at first, this story was laughed at. People were thinking, absolutely no way. Is she going to have a seat on the Senate? Especially while she's still holding royal British titles. That's another story. But Gavin Newsom has expressed in the past who he wants to replace Dianne Feinstein, or who he wants to fill any vacancies that come up in these Senate seats. And he has expressed that he wants a black woman specifically to be appointed, which, is a kind of the thing that the Democrat Party does. They brag about diversity, they brag about being the first this, the first that. Apparently that's their strength, ensuring that we force diversity in certain areas rather than appointing the person who's simply best for the job. So we know writing to the Senate, calling senators, people speculated how did she get their numbers, we don't know. Trying to take credit for bills concerning family leave. That does indicate somebody who is interested, at the very least, in politics. Even trying to fly on Air Force One. Now, apparently that story was put out there by Democrats. It's been alleged that Democrats put that story out there to let the world know that they don't really care for Meghan and they're not checking for her in any way.
Writing in The Telegraph, GB News presenter Camilla Tominey commented the Duchess is thought to entertain political ambitions, but what the pair appear to have forgotten is that in order to gain a reputation as a leading statesperson or philanthropist, you actually have to have done something. Now, Lady C, you're hearing that the Democrats over in Washington are actually desperate to distance themselves from Meghan Markle. Tell me more.
Well, yes, but not only in Washington, Dan, also in California. My understanding is that the Democrats are the ones who leaked the Air Force One scenario. But even more important, I have been hearing in the last 36 hours that Gavin Newsom has been harassed by Meghan to such an extent for her putting forward her idea that they should allow her to step into Dianne Feinstein's shoes, which would incidentally give her access to the Intelligence Committee, because that goes along with the seat, and Dianne Feinstein is a member of the Intelligence Committee. And he's got so fed up with her persistence that he has given instructions that her calls are not to be received and not to be passed on to him. And he has personally blocked her from his mobile phone.
So apparently she was harassing Gavin Newsom at the time and he didn't take her calls and instructed his staff not to put her through. Apparently blocked her. And yeah, I can believe that happening. She's very persistent when she wants something, when she has her eye on something. She doesn't give up. And that's how she ended up marrying Harry and getting into the royal family. They called her a social climber. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that personally. You know, I think you're okay to mix in certain circles if you choose to do so and, you know, elevate yourself. That's fine by me, but just be honest about who you are. So that's something that I could see her, you know, these people crave power. That's why they have no problem silencing people, including children. They have no problem trying to create their own narrative, bombarding us with puff pieces, you know, their PR propaganda. I'm sure she would fit right in, getting paid a lot of money for doing nothing, having opportunities to make even more money, perhaps some insider trading. I could see her coveting, you know, this seat. I could see her definitely taking the steps to go for it. Now, if she ever gets anywhere, what she will do is another story. They're not called lazy effing grifters for nothing, are they? And how that would affect her royal titles, especially Harry, I don't know. But one thing we know is they absolutely want their IPP status back. They love to have bodyguards follow them wherever they go, that draw attention to themselves, that give them a sense of importance. I could see them having motorcades to go to a Starbucks run. I could see them having multiple security officers following them wherever they go. But they want that on taxpayers' dime. They don't want to have to pay for all of that. They want us to pay for it. So in recent months, Meghan is identified as 43% Nigerian. She's laid on the fake tan. And she's definitely putting it out there that she is a woman of color. Apparently, according to the Democrat Party, that's all you need to qualify. Kamala Harris did the same thing. All of a sudden, it became convenient to identify as a black woman, as opposed to, you know, her Indian heritage, which she's very proud of. But when it came to going for the VP position, she was presented as the first black female VP. When you want to run for certain positions in politics, you present yourself as black. And Meghan Markle knows that, especially if she wants to get in there with the Democrats. So in the past, Gavin Newsom has said that he plans on filling any upcoming vacancies in the Senate with black women. I would love to see the response if he had said that he plans to fill the Senate seats with white women. I wonder how that would have been received. So in 2023, it's perfectly acceptable for a politician to say they plan on discriminating based on race, as long as it's favourable towards a particular race. So he goes and says this. He goes and says that he has no problem admitting that he's using black people as pawns. The same thing that Joe Biden did when he said he wanted the next Supreme Court justice to be a black woman. He made it no secret that he handpicked Kamala because she is a black woman as well for VP. Now we're dealing with the consequences of that. But at least we have diversity. Karine Jean-Pierre doesn't stop reminding us of all the diversity boxes she ticks. Let's not forget, all of a sudden, when they want to talk about their diversity, when they want to brag about the first this, the first that, the first woman, the first black woman, they all of a sudden know what a woman is. So in the wake of Senator Dianne Feinstein's death, California's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom on Friday is now tasked with naming the trailblazing senator's immediate successor. Newsom has previously pledged to fill any Senate vacancy with a black woman. Many thought the natural successor for the seat then would be Rep. Barbara Lee, the only black woman of the three high-profile Democrats running for Feinstein's seat upon her announcement she would not seek another term in 2024. So people already started showing interest in the seat, obviously, when she said that she was going to retire. But on NBC's Meet the Press earlier this month, Newsom said that he would not appoint any of the three, a group that includes Reps Katie Porter and Adam Schiff, as well as Lee, to the seat if it becomes vacant. Now we're seeing more reports talk about Meghan Markle desiring to replace that seat. And it does make me wonder, are they trying to tell us something? So Newsom said he would instead make an interim appointment to replace Feinstein, so as to not tip the balance in the competitive Senate primary. Yes, interim appointment. I don't want to get involved in the primary, Newsom said. It would be completely unfair to the Democrats that have worked their tail off. Their primary is just a matter of months away. I don't want to tip the balance of that. In the same interview, Newsom confirmed his previous pledge to appoint a black woman to fill the seat. I abide by what I've said very publicly on a consistent basis, Newsom said. So he has no problem acknowledging that he's a bigot. He has no problem acknowledging that that he has no problem using black people as pawns, and he has no problem discriminating on the basis of race. He has no problem admitting that his goal is not to fill the seat with the best person for the job, who's going to benefit the American people, the people of California. He's letting the world know that his priority is race, that he is obsessed with race. So again, Meghan Markle putting it out there that she's 43% with no proof, with no evidence, with layers upon layers of fake tan, has put her in the running to replace Dianne Feinstein. Because apparently to Gavin Newsom, that's all that's required, is to be a black woman. She was identifying as a Caucasian up until pretty recently. So more reports are coming out that validates what Lady C was saying. Now this was a couple of months ago, but recently, apparently a Labour MP in the UK is also repeating what Lady C has said. So Gavin Newsom is saying, you know, he's going to put someone to replace Dianne Feinstein until the end of her term when he talks about an interim appointment. So whoever replaces Dianne Feinstein will be there for 13 months. So if it was Meghan Markle, you can imagine she would do so much within those 13 months, not for the people of California, but for herself. She probably wouldn't have to put in much work, but she would get a lot more out of it. She would get the IPP status, security on taxpayers' dime. She'll get her foot into the door of politics. So she has made no secret about her left-leaning politics and belief that women can change the world. So it may come as no surprise that Meghan Markle's name was being bandied about in Hollywood last night as a long shot replacement for California Senator Dianne Feinstein. Now, I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe Hollywood is talking about her as a replacement for Dianne Feinstein. I believe that's her goal. And these reports are putting it out there. And there were rumors circulating, yes. But I don't believe Hollywood are looking at her as a possible replacement. I think they would be pretty shocked if that was to ever happen. And many of them will probably be pretty disgusted too. Because the first thing they will ask is, what qualifications does she have? A major Democratic donor who is close to Californian Gavin Newsom, who will choose Feinstein's replacement, told the Mail on Sunday, Meghan is definitely a long shot, but in the craziness that is US politics these days, it's not an impossibility. Crazier things have happened. Now, is that a dig at Trump? So they're also reporting that when Kamala Harris became VP and her seat became available, Meghan and Harry were kind of hovering around Gavin Newsom back then and apparently arranged an hour-long meeting with him. So he was placed in a similar position in October 2020 when then-candidate Biden chose another California senator, Kamala Harris, to be his running mate against Donald Trump. At the time, the Mail on Sunday reported that a senior Labour Party source confirmed Meghan had been networking among senior Democrats with a view to building a grassroots campaign to fuel her political ambitions, with the US presidency her ultimate aim. She and Prince Harry reportedly held a virtual hour-long meeting with Governor Newsom, but he picked another candidate. So he needs to find a woman of colour who can do the job for 13 months and would agree to not stand against any of the seasoned politicians who have already thrown their hats into the ring. Wow. There are not that many women who fit the bill, which is why Meghan's name is being bandied about. And there you have it. If this is just a temporary position, I would like to think that Gavin Newsom can get out of his discriminatory mindset and just pick somebody who's going to do a good job for the next 13 months, regardless of sex, regardless of race. If this is something that he doesn't want to think too much about, and, you know, he wants somebody who's going to be the affirmative action representative in this temporary position, then he very well may see Meghan Markle as being suitable, especially when that's his priority, is the diversity hire. And we know that Meghan is friends with Gloria Steinem, and apparently reports are saying that Gloria has been introducing Meghan to key people within Democratic Party circles. We know this woman is a social climber. We know this woman is a networker. She social climbed her way to the very top, to the British royal family. So this woman knows how to get in there She knows how to get into certain social circles. Really, she needs to just own it and write a book already. How to social climb. I would much rather that. At least that's honest. If they had an hour-long video call with Gavin Newsom, if that's true, they are actively campaigning for Meghan to get into politics. They're actively working towards that. And yes, running for president of the United States, of course. Now, I wonder whether it's fame or power she wants. Which one does she want more? And I'm more inclined to believe it's the power. Because when she was in the royal family, that certainly brings a lot of fame. That certainly brings a lot of prestige. That certainly brings, you know, people wanting to take your pictures, following you wherever you go. That brings a lot of that. But being second to Catherine, that wasn't going to be good enough for her. She doesn't want to be second to Catherine and William. She doesn't want to be the next couple after them. And then when the kids get older, they're going to be pushed even further and further back. That's not what she wanted. It came with a lot of fame, even being second, but it didn't come with the power. There's no way she was happy with the supporting role, walking behind William and Catherine. Absolutely not. This couple are power hungry. So President of the United States, having your own plane, having your own motorcade wherever you go, your own security that other people pay for, that's what they want. So yeah, I can definitely see this as a goal of hers. Do I see it materializing? Absolutely not. But if it's just for a temporary position, if it's going to bring a lot of publicity to the Democratic Party, if it's going to give them points, you know, because it's a black woman that he's appointed for this temporary position, then, you know, who knows? Like that person said, like that source said, the possibilities are endless. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.